What is going on, people, and welcome back to a brand new video. In this video we're going to be talking about winterizing your vehicle. So first of all, what do we mean by winterizing? We basically mean we're preparing your vehicle ready for winter. Now you might think there's not much to do with preparing your vehicle for winter, especially if you live in the UK, but there are some things that you can do to prevent failures, to prevent breakdowns, and also just a few things that you can swap out that will be better for winter that could also work in the summer as well. So it's no hardship to make sure you put that product in next time you service your vehicle or next time that component needs changing out. So first of all, we're going to go into batteries. And now this is probably the most common failure of vehicle starting issues. As it gets colder, your battery gets less efficient, gives out less amperage, and then it fails to start your vehicle. Now you might come to your vehicle one day and the lights come up on the dash and everything seems to be working, but then when you turn your key and try to engage your starter motor, it just clicks out. And this is typical of a battery that's been affected by the cold. Now of course, if you've got a lead acid battery or an AGM battery and it's in good condition, it probably shouldn't be affected by the cold. But if your battery's maybe old, maybe due for a replacement anyway, the winter months can just exaggerate this and make it seem like it's already broken. Certainly if you've got start stop on your vehicle as well, you can probably see your start stop beginning to fail and not activate. Maybe you'll get a fault code saying that the start stop is not functioning correctly, and this is another telltale sign that your battery is on its way out. So we're going to go into a few things and how we can rectify this and some spare parts that we can take along to make sure we're not going to be stranded at the side of the road. So the first thing and the most expensive solution is to get a lithium battery. You can't just pop a lithium battery into your vehicle. Lithium batteries require different types of charging and it's not something that you can just change out. But in some instances, people have done it and it's worked to great success. And I know for sure myself, and I've changed my motorcycle battery out for a lithium battery, not because of the winter months, because of the weight of it, because they're much lighter as well, and they last much longer, and they give out more of a current for a longer period of time. And I've had absolutely no issues charging that lithium battery from my motorcycle that's designed to charge a lead acid or an AGM battery. However, this solution is very, very expensive. You can sometimes pay up to £1,000 for a battery, so it's not a solution that you're probably going to be looking into. But what can we do to counter that? So we're accepting that our vehicle battery might fail, we can get what we call a jump starter pack. Now gone are the days where these jump starter packs are super heavy, you put them in the boot of your vehicle, they take up all the space of your boot. We now have jumper packs that can fit in your pocket. It's basically just another small lithium battery, like a power pack that you charge your phone from, except it's capable of giving out that high current demanded to start your vehicle. They come with two little jumper leads that you click on, they're quite easy to charge, they double up as a USB power pack as well as your battery starter pack. You can charge them from your vehicle on the go from the cigarette socket. They're a great utility to have. And even if you've got one and it's just in your vehicle and you don't use it, it's always good to have there as part of your breakdown kit. I've had one for a number of years now, and although I've not had to use it myself, I've helped out many of friends that have broken down, that have got flat batteries, and it's just such a simple tool. And back in the day where you had to wheel out your battery starter because it was on wheels because it was that heavy, or it's a big briefcase type thing and it weighs close to 40 kilograms, those days are gone now. These little lithium power packs are absolutely perfect. Now you can get cheaper ones off Amazon, and I'm sure you'll be able to get some on the Black Friday sales this Friday. However, I would recommend getting a quality one. The thing you've got with these lithium batteries is because it's a valuable material, often the cheaper ones don't have as much of the valuable material in there, or they have a lower grade of it. The majority of the cost on some of these battery power packs is purely the lithium. So if you're getting one that looks identical and the specs say it's identical, but it's half the price of another one, something's probably not going to add up right there. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it will probably work. However, with my battery pack, I got a cheap one off Amazon and it said it would start up to a 12-litre diesel, apparently. I'm not sure who's got a 12-litre diesel, but that's what it said on the packet, and it failed to start a 2-litre van. However, it was absolutely perfect for starting the smaller cars. It started a Fiesta, no problem. It started a Focus, no problem. And it started a Volkswagen Polo, absolutely no problem. Things to consider with these though, they're only good for a couple of starts and then you need to charge them again. But I suppose that's a trade-off with having something so small as opposed to something so big what we had in the past. Next we're going to go into a battery charger. Now this is another solution to a potentially dodgy battery, but also a solution if you've got a vehicle that you don't use that much. So let's say you have a vehicle that you only drive in the summer, you might want to consider getting a battery charger. And in essence what this is it's a trickle charger that you plug into your garage or plug into your house and run the cables outside to your vehicle. You clip it on the battery and it gives a slow trickle charge, keeping that battery in tip-top condition. A lot of damage to batteries, lead acid and AGM, come when they go into a deep state of discharge. So every time you drop that below the 12 volts or below the 11.8 volts, I believe the bottom out of those is, you're putting your battery into damaging area and you can get crystallization on your batteries. If you do want more information on batteries, I've done a full video on batteries. It is related to leisure batteries, however, the theories are the same. And the way you can get around this damage is by constantly giving your vehicle a trickle charge. It won't take much draw from your house. Your battery's just getting topped up every now and then. It's not going to put your electric bill up by a considerable amount. It's going to be pennies in the long run, but it's going to keep that battery in good condition while you store your vehicle for the winter. Or if you maybe drive your vehicle every weekend and you know your battery's on the blink, then maybe you could just put it on an optimizer, a trickle charge, just to see that battery through this winter. Next, we're going to go into washer fluid and de-icer. Now, I think the de-icer goes without saying. You should have a can of de-icer in your car to clear your windscreen. One thing to consider with de-icer is sometimes if you have exposed rubbers on your windscreen in some of the older cars, the de-icer can degrade the rubbers. Maybe be a bit frugal with your de-icer if you are in a rush and try not to spray it over the rubbers and just use it on your windscreen. You see people absolutely coating the windscreen in it. Now, that's great to get the ice off, but the longevity of the rubbers that hold your windscreen in, it's probably going to degrade them and reduce their lifespan overall. Now, washer fluid, I put this in the same category as de-icer because you can use it to the same effect. So if you've got some washer fluid, generally people will put washer fluid in and they'll get the cheap bottle from Halfords and they'll top up the washer fluid. Now, next time you're shopping for washer fluid, you will see you've got two grades generally. You'll have one that has a freezing temperature of about -10 degrees and one that has a freezing temperature, I think it's about -degrees. If you get the more premium one that freezes at a much lower temperature, that can double up as a de-icer. So when you come to your vehicle, you'll be able to squirt that out of your jet straight onto your windscreen, and that will assist in melting the ice. So that's just one thing to consider. Next time you're topping up your windscreen wash, maybe get the 50p extra bottle that has the lower freezing temperature, and you can double that up as a windscreen de-icer. Oil and coolant. Now, this is not so much of a big issue in the UK. It might be in the North Highlands of Scotland. However, for the main part of it, it's not a massive issue. But if you are going to places where the temperature is super low, that can affect your oil viscosity, which in essence means the thickness of the oil. Now, your engine's designed to run on a certain grade of oil which has a certain viscosity at a certain temperature. As that oil gets colder, it gets thicker. When it gets warmer, it gets thinner and it lubricates your parts. So if we're going to deep temperatures and your oil gets too thick to be used correctly, you might want to get a different grade of oil for that temperature you're in. A lot of the northern countries will do an oil change for their winter, and that's just something you might want to consider if you are going travelling. And again, for coolant, your coolant probably has an element of antifreeze in there as well, but just make sure your coolant antifreeze is up to the standard of the location where you are or you are going on your travels. A thing with coolant, if you're getting an old used car, is that people may often top the coolant up with water. I'm guilty, I've done this in the past. So if your car is burning coolant and someone's topped it up with water, you might end up with quite a heavy dilution of coolant to water. So by the time winter comes around, you might only be in -5 degrees, but your coolant might freeze because it's 95% water and 5% 50-50 dilute mix. So if you have got a used car and you're not certain of the reliability, maybe get some neat coolant in there just to alter that mix up a little bit, just so you're not going to be freezing at some of the lower temperatures. Visibility. Now, this can be captured in two aspects. You can either go for lighting or you can go for an anti-fog. Your anti-fog products such as Rain-X, and there's lots of other types of products out there, but Rain-X is possibly the more popular one. You can use this on the inside and the outside of your windscreen. You can use it on the outside of your windscreen to stop road debris from sticking to it, to stop water from settling on it overnight, which then when you come to it in the morning, you'll have less ice on there. And you can use it on the inside of your windscreen to stop the mist and the fog. So of course, when you're getting your vehicle in the morning on a cold morning, you've got all that fog on the inside that you need to clear first. Rain-X will stop that. You can also use this on headlights and other bits of trim of your vehicle if you want to keep them clear. So for example, your wing mirrors, your headlights, and ultimately give you better visibility. You can also look at installing aftermarket lights. I've seen a lot of light bars on the road recently. These are usually linked up to the fog light, so they're just powered straight into the fog light. So when you turn your fog lights on, you get a small light bar. And even a small light bar will make a massive difference during hard visibility, let's say low fog, that sort of stuff. A small light bar is a big deal in that. But just make sure that that is legal in the country where you are. Winter tyres. Now for me, this is one of the biggest ones. If you're going to do anything from this video to your vehicle, this is the one you want. I didn't really believe in winter tyres until I lived in Germany for 3 years. And in Germany, it's a legal requirement to have winter tyres at the winter. Now my first winter there, I thought, I'm not putting winter tyres on my car, I'm just going to keep my summer ones. And while I was getting stuck all these vehicles were cruising past me on the winter tyres with absolutely no trouble. But let me tell you, on my second year when I got winter tyres, it was night and day, and now every chance I get, I try to get winter tyres. One thing to consider, running winter tyres all year round, you're probably going to get reduced grip in the summer, and winter tyres wear heavily in the summer. When they get warm, the wear on those tyres is quite heavy, so you might want to consider investing in a secondary set of wheels, just some cheap steel wheels with some cheap winter tyres on, because if you get the right size wheels, your tyres will be much cheaper as well. And then you can keep your nice alloy wheels with your summer tyres on, keep them in good condition, avoid the road salt, the road grit, and put your cheap winter wheels on and get better grip and more safety. Winter tyres double up as well. Not only can you get the grip and go at better speeds, when you're slowing down in the event of emergency, these winter tyres are going to get better traction with the road, so you can slow down much better. All-weather tyres are also a good option, but if the gold solution is to have a set of winter wheels and a set of summer wheels. However, all-weather tyres are still better than summer tyres in the winter. Now, Snowchains, and again, I appreciate this is not going to be a big deal for people in the UK. However, we have got a past of having some heavy snowfall right off the cuff, and no one's equipped to deal with it. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting specifically Snowchains. They're quite bulky, they're awkward to fit, they're dirty, they make noise. A good replacement product for this that is small, easy to pack away, easy to install is something called an auto sock or a snow sock. There's various brands that do this. It's basically a fabric cover that gives you grip. You wrap it around your wheel like you would a snow chain, but it's much easier to apply because it's fabric. You tighten it up with some straps and away you go. You've then got the grip on the snow. One thing to think about with these is once you're done on the snow with these, I think a lot of them are rated up to 30 miles per hour. Once you're done on the snow with these, you need to take them off once you're back on the road because you're just going to get some damage towards them. Gritting. Now again, this is one thing that's often overlooked by people, is gritting. Now of course the country's going to react and they're going to grit the main roads. They might even grit the side roads that lead up to your house. But one potential choke point is your driveway. If you can't get off your driveway, it doesn't matter how well that road is gritted if you can't get off your driveway. So invest in a bag of grit, or just go up there with a bag and get some grit from the local grit box. It's one of those things that's going to save you time. Of course you can get rid of the snow by shoveling it, but laying some grit down there the night before is far more efficient and you're not going to have any issues getting to work in the morning. Next we're going to go into some equipment that you might like to carry with you on your ventures. In some countries this is a legal requirement to carry some of this kit. I'm not going to go over everything, the basics, I'm just going to go over some specific stuff that you might want to carry during the winter months. Lock de-icer. Now the reason I say this, you might think, well, I don't open my vehicle with a key anymore, so I don't need lock de-icer. Now in the event of a battery failure, you're not going to be able to unlock your vehicle with your key because your battery's failed. And if you can't get into your vehicle with the key, then you can't get in under your bonnet to start your battery with the jump leads or the jumper pack what you've got. Don't get me wrong, you can use normal de-icer, but generally lock de-icer's got a little head on it that will allow you to insert it into the lock somewhat and just free up that lock. One thing to try and avoid is stuff like WD-40 in locks. When you squirt WD-40 in locks, it attracts moisture, which then will freeze. It might not get moisture on the lock component itself, but the moisture may sit on top of the oil, and then once that freezes, it seizes your lock up. Now we've already gone over just a standard can of de-icer and a jumper pack, so we won't go over that anymore. A shovel. Now obviously this is quite a low priority for you to carry a shovel. You don't really need to, however it can be really good to get you out of sticky situations. You can either get fold away shovels from camping shops, they'll take up no space in your boot, you'll probably forget it's there until you absolutely need it. If you were to get stuck during the snow, it's this sort of thing that's going to just help you clear it. And yes, you'll get by using things to dig the snow out of the way, but trying to move snow with something like a tray and then using a shovel, it is so much more time saving to use the correct tool for the correct job. A scraper and a snow brush. Now of course you've probably already got a scraper, but a big thing is a snow brush. A snow brush is good for removing that snow from your vehicle without damaging it as much. If you're just wiping the snow from your vehicle with your hand, you might damage your paintwork. We all don't want to damage our paintwork, we want to keep our vehicles in good condition, and a snow brush generally has softer bristles on and it'll just brush the snow from your vehicle, as the name's intended, in a much more safer, kinder manner to your paintwork. Now you've obviously got all the other stuff that's relevant to the country what you're in, such as high-vis jackets, warning triangles, tyre inflators, but that concludes my list on stuff that you might want to consider for winterising your vehicle. Hopefully it's helped. Hopefully you've learned something from the video. I for sure learned something making this video. If you did like the video, then please do subscribe to my channel. And if there's something that you want to add to this video, then drop it in the comments, because you might teach me something and you also might teach the other people reading the comments something. I'll catch you in the next video.